Hello everyone, Firecrest here, and welcome to the F1 2021 career mode. Admittedly, starting extremely late, but you know what? Let's go with it anyway, and let's actually give this thing a try. So for starters, let's just go over the stuff that really matters. At least for me, the engine supplier was a no-brainer when looking at all these options for cost efficiency and all that stuff. It had to be the Honda engine, and also, it sounds the best, so I haven't got a problem with that. And obviously, as for the teammates, it was a little bit different having to pick one of the F2 drivers. In the end, I basically played Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo with these two, and it decided to go in at the end with Guan Yu Zhou, and I think after the first race, it really paid off.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. As you can see, there's no pit lane behind me, and as you can hear, no roar of engines, and that's because they've set me free from the F1 paddock to escape here to the countryside and to the headquarters of Formula One's newest team. Now, it's not every day we get to pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes at an F1 team. Rarer still that we get to talk not only to the team owner, but also the team's lead driver. But what makes this place extra special is that the owner and lead driver are one and the same person. Now, it's been an interesting 12 months, and we all know a number of the regulation changes which were due to come into effect this year have been delayed until next. Some, though, are still seeing the light of day, amongst them the all-important budget cap, which gives some of the smaller teams a little further down the order, potentially, the opportunity to compete with the bigger teams. Good for them, but great for us as viewers. But what does our new team owner think about these new rules? Do they see them as a challenge, a hurdle that needs to be overcome? Perhaps they see them as an opportunity to disrupt the status quo, a chance to come out swinging and to carve their name into Formula One history. Well, I had the opportunity to ask them these very questions just earlier today, and here's what they had to say.
Gotta say, looking back on it, I really do enjoy these little details with actually getting Will Buxton in the game to go for all this with the backdrop of the team headquarters, kind of looking like the McLaren Technology Centre in a way. But it's just really interesting. It's some very nice details, and I won't bore you with all the interview stuff because it hasn't really changed too much in this year's game. So instead, let's just move on to some more important and interesting stuff. I'll try to keep this stuff as short as possible, but to begin with, driver training camp for me has to be number one priority right now, just to get Guan Yu up to speed and to make sure he's able to perform very well at an early stage. In terms of upgrades, the first choice had to be a chassis upgrade because I love having a very much upgraded chassis. It's very useful for both the weight and the acceleration. And then I also got myself a drag reduction upgrade. But let's go on to something interesting. Get ready to see my car for Season 1. So I should preface this point by saying that I do play on console, so that I can't do any custom stuff, sadly. But this, with the purple and white, I really like this, and I think, honestly, I just really enjoy the look of it.
Hey boss, this is Jeff. Just wanted to say thanks for trusting me as your race engineer. I won't let you down. The car is ready to go, but it's brand new of course, so there may be a few issues here and there. We'll be keeping a close eye on all the data.
But honestly, moving out onto the track for the first time in this car, and honestly, yeah, I really like the look of it. I might end up toning down the purple a little bit because it is extremely bright and it will really show up at the brighter tracks in the future, but yeah, I'm really happy with the way this turned out, and I have no complaints at all to how it looks. The practice programs have had a small update this year where you need to do bonus objectives and whatnot. It just adds a little bit more to it, but in general, there's not many differences. So what I decided to do, which was really stupid in hindsight, is just take this car on numerous laps to see when the tyres would burst, and there it is on lap 12 eventually. There goes the front left, which realistically was not a clever idea whatsoever, because the car is undrivable now, and all I did was just roast the engine components much more than they ever needed to be. So, in hindsight, stupid idea, but you know what? We're here to have fun, we're here to have an enjoyable career mode, but we're still here to be competitive. So let's move on to qualifying. And we immediately have an electrical fault, meaning we're going to spend a few minutes in the garage. Fantastic! As you can clearly see, I was not very happy. Yep, there we go. There it is. I was not very happy to start the session with a fault, which hopefully it's not a bad omen for the first race. But as we come to the end of qualifying 1 on the first lap, it's a pretty decent lap, but it says P5 of 127.3, a good starting point, and we're going to see how things go from there. Well, we end up in P5 straight away, which, gotta be honest, what I did at in the very first race, and Guan Yu Zhou, I should just mention straight away, immediately topping the people who are leaving us at the end of Q1, but he did out-qualify George Russell, Raikkonen, Mazepin, Giovinazzi, and Latifi. So a very good first session for the young Chinese man. But before this, I put the AI difficulty on 90% because I've got to be honest, I didn't know how the performance was going to be, but I quickly realised out of Q1 that, or maybe it was a bit of a fluke. Then we outdid Hamilton's first lap in Q2, and I was very curious as what was going to happen. We qualified 5th. Again. So, at the end of the session, I really realised that the AI difficulty was way too low, and I should stop being generous and just kind of go for it on day 1. So, at the end of that, I made the executive decision that I was going to retire from Q3, not at a time, and we will be starting 10th on the grid, but we will also be starting with those Q2 tyres. So, it will be an interesting one, but let's get on to the race.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Verstappen, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Vettel, Sainz and Lucky, Stroll, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso and Gasly, Ocon, Mick Schumacher and Guan Yu Zhou and George Russell, Raikkonen, Mazepin, Giovinazzi and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Well, it's been a long time coming, but those lights are coming on and getting ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Lights out, away we go, and it seems like a good start for the front two Mercedes. The McLaren of Lando Norris was getting a little bit swamped at the start. We're going down the right-hand side of the track, right behind Daniel Ricciardo. Can have a look up the inside into turn 1, side by side. with the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, and we just get the drive on the Monegasque driver for now, in behind Lando Norris and in front of Leclerc for now. And here he comes, Leclerc trying to make a move up the inside. We're going to hold the line around the outside ahead of both Ferraris on their first race. So not bad going at all, but Leclerc is already having a look up the inside. We're all out of shape going through the first few chicanes. I was not ready to drive at all in race trim. I was not ready. And yeah, you can see just how much of a problem it is. We've gone out really wide. We've already lost one position, back down to 7th. Behind now in a Ferrari sandwich, and then Leclerc locks up, but we're so late on the brakes. And then Sainz gets past, and here comes Vettel as well down the right hand side, and that has been a poor section of corners. Just to try and hold position there. But Vettel and Sainz are going side by side on the exit of the corner. We get back past the Aston Martin and are now just trying to get back past the Ferrari. A little bit of contact, but no harm done at all. Just a little slide, and hopefully we'll get Sainz straight away a bit wide on the exit. Just going to have to follow him with the ERS and try and get him as we come to the end of lap 1 into the final corner. Going to have a look around the outside of the Spaniard, and we get the move done. Back up to P7. And that is honestly a decent start considering we were standing 7th. So now it's all about holding the position. So as we move on to the end of lap 3, the tyres aren't doing too well, gotta be honest. They are wearing out quite badly, and it's showing us here comes Sebastian Vettel up the inside, and look how much speed he's got in the Aston Martin. He has got so much straight line speed. It is very hard to keep up with him, but we are going to try around the outside of the first corner into turn 2 and 3. We do get the move done on Vettel, and we hold our position for now, but it is going to be a bit of cat and mouse for the rest of this Grand Prix as we do hold the line going through turn 4. And once again, yeah, these tyres not holding out so well, so I imagine a pit stop is not too far away at all, and then we'll have to see what happens afterwards. But on to lap 6, the yellow flags are out, as it is Charles Leclerc who spun off the circuit at the turn 10 hairpin. And that is not something you see every day. An AI mistake, and spinning off a very slow corner. Must be said, as Vettel tries to have another look, but the yellow flags, I'm guessing, stopping him. And the safety car has been deployed midway through 6 because of Leclerc's spin. And well, this is going to be interesting to see what happens from now on. As we move on to lap 8, fun little transition there. But we went down to 9th place because of a pit stop. And we're going to try and get back past the Red Bull of Sergio Perez, while Vettel is also having a look at the inside. 3 wide into 1 as me and Vettel follow the cars to the inside. Vettel cutting the corner as we try and get back past him and then overtake Valtteri Bottas for P5 in this Grand Prix. The 2 cars ahead of us, Stroll and Alonso, are yet to make their first stop as they start on the medium tyre, so they'll be going longer into this race. But we do get back past a Mercedes in our first ever Grand Prix, being Valtteri Bottas. So I have no reason to complain, and it's been a fantastic start to the race. But obviously it's not going to end, it's not going to keep going even, as he is having a look up the inside. Valtteri Bottas trying to get the move done, but no luck. Into the final corner on lap 10 into lap 11. No DRS yet, because obviously the safety car, now it's just been enabled. But I'm hoping to get past Fernando Alonso here and try and put a car in between ourselves and Bottas, having a look down the inside and then the outside of 1, then through turn 2 and 3, trying to just line up the move on the run down to 4. Alonso's got DRS, we have the DRS as well as the ERS, and we do manage to make it past the Alpine into 4th place now in this Grand Prix. Obviously not really net because everyone's a little bit out of sequence right now, but we do get past Fernando Alonso straight away, and that is now a bit of a buffer between ourselves and Valtteri Bottas. But as we move on to the end of lap 11, that doesn't last as Bottas does get past Fernando Alonso. Although Alonso is not giving up on that position just yet, he is still trying to fight, as we now need to get past Lance Stroll. So we have another buffer in between us. A little bit of context as I move just a little bit too late. And we get past the second Aston Martin in this race. Not a bad place to be running at all in this current part of the race. But I do have a feeling that it's not going to last too much longer, because here comes Lance Stroll again with the overspeed of the Aston Martin. So much power and speed. But we do get back past him. And Bottas is very close as well. Valtteri might just have a look to get straight past Stroll immediately. And he does instantly, which means no buffer for us. No more protection. There goes the the Finn in the Mercedes, and he's gone for the rest of this Grand Prix. There's nothing I could do to stop that. So realistically, that wasn't going to last much longer anyway, but off he goes. And it's a bit of a shame we can't do anything, but it is how it is in this current stage, trying to go forward. So we're going to be looking back behind us again at the next Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel. As we move on to lap 14, here comes the Aston Martin up the inside into turn 1, trying to get the move done, almost soaring side by side through turn 1, trying to just keep the position over him. But this could be a real fight for the rest of this Grand Prix, and I have a feeling this is about the best we're going to get. Maybe a little bit worse after the pit stops. As we move on to lap 15 now, Vettel still following us in the slipstream, and here comes Sebastian. And again, the overspeed on the Aston Martin is so much, and we just can't hold the position. So we're going to have to just get in behind him again and see if we can't line up a move into the start-finish straight. But hopefully he doesn't actually get away, because look how much he's already pulled on us. So I'm hoping we can stick with him, but there's not much of a hope. Although we are closing up a little bit on the back straight, and there we go, much better under brakes. We are really close, because behind us now is Sergio Perez, and I'd rather fight Vettel than Perez, let's say that. As we are getting very close now to the Aston Martin, overspeed going up to 207 miles an hour around the outside into turn 1, and we are just about going to wrestle the position back from Sebastian Vettel. Very good stuff so far on lap 16. I'm really enjoying this race. As we move on to the end of that lap though, here comes Vettel once again with the speed and the slipstream, and there he goes. And if we can't get it back into turn 1, then it might be over again, but we do just squeeze it down the inside. We try to have a look, and it's no use this time, so we're going to go for the switchback through 2 and 3, and it does work, but Perez is now on the back of us, so this really is where things are going to get interesting. As we move on to the end of that lap, on lap 17, going on to 18, Vettel, I think, Vettel is gone off into the pits. Perez has not, but Verstappen and Bottas have both gone into the pit lane, which puts us P2 so far. Obviously, that's going to change, because there's no way Verstappen and Bottas are going to keep ahead of us. No, we're going to keep ahead of Bottas and Verstappen even. And Perez is immediately on the back of us, and immediately is going to go on the attack. And you can just see how close the Red Bull is. I'm pretty sure we're on near enough the same strategy. He stopped at the safety car as well. And even still, he's this close to us in no time after Vettel went into the pits. Just going through the right-hander, we're going to try and keep ahead of him, but this is honestly, I think, all in vain at this point, because it's only going to be a matter of time before we go into a straight. The tyres, luckily, did hold up very well in this stint, and the car is showing very nice signs of that. But here comes Sergio Perez. There's nothing I can do about that right now on the straight. But into the corner, we just managed to outbrake him, and we keep position ahead of Sergio for the time being. And I'm guessing that he will be off into the pit lane soon enough for his second stop, and that'll take him to the end of the Grand Prix. But I'm sure we will be very much out of sequence with him.
On Hamilton, they have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
And look at that, big drama. Hamilton with engine troubles in the very first Grand Prix, so he will be slower in this next half. So we'll have to see how that pans out. As we move on to lap 19 now, Verstappen has caught us, and now we've got to deal with the Red Bull's big brother, and look at that! I didn't even need to give him a second invitation to come through, and he just storms down the inside as Hamilton is into the pits on this lap. As much as Verstappen is very good in the corners, he is actually very slow on the straights, must be said. We have a look around the outside, not quite going to work, so just going to try and hold the normal line. And we are just going to try and re-overtake him down the pit straight. Here we go, much better speed than the Red Bull. Our pit stop is open for this lap. And where is Hamilton? There he is! We're going to go side by side with Hamilton and Verstappen on the first race. Sorry guys if I interrupt you, but I've got a race to run on my own, and this is crazy stuff for the first ever race of this career mode. But as we move on halfway through the lap, Hamilton and Verstappen are now the ones following us. And I've got to say, I didn't expect to say that, as Hamilton just barges his way down the inside into the hairpin. That was a very nice move. Absolutely perfectly judged by Mr. Hamilton. And here comes Verstappen straight away, and I'm basically just letting him through there because I've held these guys up enough. They should go off and have their race. It is Hamilton versus Verstappen part, God knows how many at this point, but off they go to have the fight for this race win. As we go on to the end of that lap, we're going to come into the pits for our second stop, and we're going to get out of these guys' way and just let them enjoy their racing. But this will be onto the soft tyres, and we will just have to go to the end of this race. Maybe gain one or two positions after it. We'll have to see who's ahead of us and who isn't. Let's see what the pit stop's like. 2.9, not bad. Can't complain. From the guys, there goes Bottas and Vettel, actually. So there goes Ricciardo and Perez as well. So it's a shame that the people we were fighting are long gone, but there is Lance Stroll. Obviously only stopping once. Or I'm not quite sure what he's done actually in terms of strategy, because he's on mediums again. He was on mediums beforehand, but we'll have to get back past Lance Stroll, and surely that is probably the most we're going to push for in this race. So here goes nothing. We're going to line it up through the S's in the right left maybe. We're very fast on these new soft tyres. They feel absolutely beautiful. That was a horrific corner cut as we dive it down the inside of the right-hander. Oh no, he's on hard tyres, sorry. And there's a yellow flag behind, so I think the car's retired. But we get back past Lance Stroll. That's for 7th place, and that's probably the best we're going to get, barring any retirements from the front runners. But who is out in this race? It is the first retirement of the season, and it's Pierre Gasly. What a shame. One of the stars of last season, and quite frankly a star in general, and he's out of the first race of the season. You hate to see it, but it's Formula 1. It happens. But nothing happened really for the rest of that race, so we're going to come round the final corner, and we are going to enjoy a very lovely and hard-earned P7. Very nice job, guys. Great way to start.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Except it kind of didn't. Let me explain. So after I finished recording this race, I went to get the replays, as I have done in the previous games, where I just, view the replay, capture it, and mix it into video, which was a few things here and there, which was from the short highlights part of the replay, which is what caused all the fun transitions. But when I went to get the full replay to get everyone else's perspectives, like the Gasly retirement or Leclerc's spin, the game crashed, which is a bug that I'm pretty sure is fixed now. So if you play on Xbox, don't worry, everything is fine now. It should be working. But what it meant is I needed to rerun the race multiple times. And yes, you are hearing that right. Multiple. And yeah, I had to run it 2 more times afterwards. The first one, I was running it, and then halfway through, it crashed again. So then I had to run it a 3rd time, which finally gave me the official results. The only thing that's worth of mention, because there wasn't really much that was going on in the race itself, but check this out. On lap 6, the Ferrari spins out again. It's not Sainz. Leclerc spins on the same corner, same lap, in a different race. Talk about some unbelievable timing and some unbelievable, I guess, work to have that happen. But no, the final race ended like this. There was no safety car on lap 6, so it just ended up being a bit of a normal race. And the finishers were: Bottas still won the race, but this time from Hamilton, making it Mercedes 1-2. Verstappen, Norris, Stroll, Alonso, ourselves, Ocon, Leclerc. Our teammate Guan Yu Zhou managed to finish 10th, so we got double points on our first ever finish. That's fantastic. Giovinazzi just missed out on the points. Yuki Tsunoda, Carlos Sainz, Mick Schumacher. Perez had an awful race, and I don't know what happened. Latifi, Vettel, so again another far cry from what actually happened. Mazepin, Russell, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, and Pierre Gasly, once again, DNF. So, thank you very much for watching this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and don't worry, I'm well aware of how late this is and generally how late I'm starting this career mode. But personally, I just want to have some fun. I just want to I just want to really, just have some fun with the game and just have fun with my own series. And just generally, yeah, I just want to have a good time, So I hope you enjoy that, and I'm sure that whenever I decide to release the next race, it'll be awesome as well. So thank you very much for watching if you did, and I hope you have a wonderful time. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.
Look what you got.